Hey kids, it's Nana here, and I have been asked to show you how to make my bean soup, or we used to call them soup beans growing up. So tomorrow your family's coming over and we're gonna have soup beans and cornbread for dinner. And you always have to start the night before, because the first thing you have to do is you get these hard, dry beans. I use the Great Northerns, which is what my mom always used. And you have to soak them overnight to make them the very best they can be. And now, since tomorrow's church, I'm also going to go ahead and cut up a couple of carrots and an onion, and then I'll just throw it all in there together tomorrow. So I'll start by soaking the beans tonight. I just put it right here in my crock pot because I'm going to use the crock pot to cook them. And then I can just drain them and use the crock pot to continue the cooking. So I will get all of that put together and soak the beans, and then tomorrow I'll show you how to put it all together. It's very, very simple, easy peasy. And I'm a little tired because I worked out in the garden today, pulling a bunch of weeds. And so I'm a little tired. I took my shower and then I realized that I had to soak the beans. So I know I don't look my best, but I'm doing this for you guys. Okay, so first I'm going to peel my carrots, and then I'm actually going to use this to chop it with into little pieces because I cut my finger with my knife and I'm so tired that I don't want to do that again. So I'm going to just speed up the video while I'm doing my... This is a really good peeler. We're also watching the Houston Astros play the 6th game of the World Series. And right now they're trailing 1-0 against the Phillies. So we're really hoping that they will catch up. So we're gonna just peel the carrots just like so. Get rid of all the peeling. And then we'll start chopping away. So this is kind of a cool little tool. I got it from Pampered Chef years ago. You can just use it to do this with vegetables, and it puts a little ridge in them like that. So it's kind of nice little carrot ridges, but I'm not doing it to be pretty right now. I'm just doing it because I don't want to cut my fingers tonight. Now, you don't have to put a carrot in there. I'm just doing it because we have extra carrots in the refrigerator, and adds a little bit of color. But you can just do onion and the ham and the beans, and that's really all you need, with a little bit of seasoning, which I'll show you tomorrow. And that's it. Okay, now we got our carrots ready. Probably could have just used one carrot actually, but like I said, I've got extra carrots, so it doesn't hurt to have extra vegetables in there. Here we go. Again, I'm just going to chop it up using my little chopper here. And now we're going to be ready for tomorrow. Okay, so all I have to do now is just put the beans in, and I'll just put just enough water to cover them up in the crock pot. It even says on here, overnight soak. Rinse and sort the beans. The reason you want to sort them is like sometimes because it's... Sometimes you'll find like a little pebble or something in there, but I don't see anything. They're usually pretty good about not putting them in there. But you just want to look through and make sure there's not any foreign objects that don't belong. You just put them in there, you put water on it, and we're just gonna let it stand overnight and it'll be ready to cook. Love you. See you tomorrow.
Well, Tim's happy because the Astros just got a home run and it's now 3-1. Woo-woo!
Good morning, y'all. Hello to my beautiful grandchildren, Allison, Paige, Hannah, Gabriel, Michaela, and of course, Jackson. So we are ready to take our beans, which have been soaking all night long.
All right, you remember what they looked like last night? Well, this is what they look like this morning. See how they've taken on all that water and they're all spread out?
I'm all ready for church, and so it's really easy to put the rest of it together now that I've got it all prepared, but I still wear my apron so that I don't get anything on my clothes. Okay, I'm going to drain the beans, and then I'm gonna put some fresh water in as well as some chicken stock. You don't have to use the chicken stock, but I had some left over from a couple days ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it up, and it'll add a little flavor. And then I'm going to add this ham bone, these onions that I chopped up last night, and these carrots that I also chopped up last night. And then we'll stir it up and we'll just turn it on, and it'll cook while we're at church, cook all day long, and it's gonna be wonderful. Okay, so in case you're wondering why we soak the beans, there's a couple of reasons. It does cut down on the cooking time. Now, since we're cooking it in a crock pot, it's not as important, but it does help to sort of break the beans down, and I like it when they get really mushy in the soup. But the other reason, it's kind of a funny one, you're probably familiar with the little tune, beans, beans, the wonderful fruit, the more you eat, the more you toot. So when you soak the beans, it cuts down about 10% of those sugars that produce that flatulence, which is what makes us toot. So hopefully we won't have too musical of a dinner tonight. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the beans. I'm going to drain them, and then I'll put all the ingredients together, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you saw that when I put those beans in there, they're still pretty hard. So it's gonna take some time for them to cook down to get soft again. So I'm gonna put some of this stock in here, pour that in. And throw that away. And then we'll put our onion in there. So I haven't added any water yet. I'm gonna wait until I get everything in there so I can decide how much water to put in. And then I'm gonna add this carrots in there. Y'all, that's looking really good already. Smells good too. There's something about the flavor of onion that just smells really good. Okay, and then I had this ham bone in the freezer. Ooh, look at that. It's got all this ham. You know what? That's not a ham bone. That's just ham, but it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna taste really good. But if you have a ham bone, that's the way to go. Guess I just didn't have the ham bone. I only had the ham. Okay, so now we've got all that in there, and we're gonna add some water. Okay, so now we're ready to start putting in some spices. We're gonna, if you wanna see what this looks like, I put in some water, so I can't tilt it too far. I put in about 4 or 5 cups. I put in just enough to kind of cover the beans and the vegetables. And then this meat is gonna fall apart as it cooks. And then everybody will get a little taste of meat whenever they get a bowl of soup. So we'll just pull it apart after it cooks. So now I'm just gonna throw in some spices, and I just like to try different spices. So you can play around with it, see what you like. I like a little bit of basil. I put basil in almost everything I cook. I don't know. I love basil. And I'm gonna throw in a little bit of marjoram. I just think the smell of the marjoram, ooh, it's gonna be really nice. I'm not gonna put a whole lot, just a little. And you can see I'm not really measuring. Italian seasoning has just like all kinds of different flavors in it. Basil's one of them, oregano. I just throw a little bit of that in there as well because I love the flavor of it when it's cooking, the aromatic flavor. And I put a little garlic powder. Now, if I'd have been smart last night, I would have cut up some garlic, but I don't feel like doing that this morning. I would have had real garlic in here, but I put a little garlic in almost everything I eat. And then this is just pepper. Computer one isn't working very well. There we go. It's just regular pepper. I would love to just, oh, that's what I want to do. I'm going to just take the lid off and just throw a few peppercorns in there. Give it a nice peppery flavor as well. And if anybody happens to bite down on one of those, my apologies. You're going to get a nice peppery flavor with your bite. Okay, then we'll just mix it all up. Yay. Now the most important part, I haven't even turned it on yet, and you can see that I never even plugged it in yet. So I do have a plug right over here on the side of my island, which I use, and I normally just leave it sitting right here on the island. And then let's see if we can get you down here so you can. Now I have these settings on mine, on my crock pot, and I normally do, I usually put it on 6 hours on high, but I don't really cook it that long on high. I just like to get it going, so I just leave it on 6 in case for some reason I go out and I don't get back in time. I don't want it to stop cooking. So I put it on 6 hours on high, but when I get home from church, I'm gonna turn it down to low. And again, I put it on the highest number of hours just because you never know when you might not make it home. But for now, I'm gonna put it on high and I'm gonna let it cook while we're at church, and then it'll be ready to eat for dinner. And of course, don't forget, you also have to put the lid on. Ooh-wee. Look inside of there. Isn't that yummy looking? Oh, it's gonna be good, y'all. Okay, I'll see you later and we'll let you know what you guys think when you have a taste later. Bye. Okay, and one thing I did forget to tell you is that we have some cleanup to do, and children, anytime you cook, you always clean up afterwards. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna clean up. Okay, I came home after church and it is bubbling. It's doing a great job of cooking. Oh, it smelled so good when I walked in. And I'm gonna just add a couple of more spices to this thing. I'm gonna add a little bit of parsley, and I'm gonna add some rosemary. And this would be great if you had fresh spices, but all I have is the dried. And I'm gonna add a little thyme, and then I'm gonna mix it up and put it on low for the rest of the day. So yeah, I'm gonna go watch a movie because Tim's out of town. He's preaching at a church, and I went to church with my grandkids who are gonna be here tonight as well to try this soup out, and I told them about my videos, and hopefully they will be watching them soon. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. Add a little bit of these spices and then we'll be good to go. I'm gonna add a little bit of this Louisiana hot sauce to my beans because it just gives it a really nice kick, a little bit of more of a flavor. You can leave it out and then just let people put it in their own bowl. Be sure and put this on the table because people might want more. So when you eat soup beans, the best thing to have with it is cornbread, and I just use this Jiffy corn muffin mix, and all you do is just add egg and milk, and it's so simple, and then you just put it in a pan and bake it. So much easier than making it from scratch. But you gotta have cornbread with soup beans. All right, it's time for the big reveal. We're gonna look at this soup and see how we're doing, and we're gonna put it into these bowls over here and get ready to eat our dinner. Now our grandkids didn't come over tonight after all because it was storming like crazy outside. So it's just gonna be me and Tim enjoying a big old pot of soup, and maybe we can send some with them. But guys, I love you. I did get to see you at church today, and I got to see you at lunch. And I'm so glad that you are sharing this cooking with Nana. So here's the big reveal. Ooh, look at that. What? All right. So we're gonna stir it all up. That looks so delicious. All these bits of ham are gonna taste so good. See how it just falls apart? That's what meat does when you cook it all day long like that. It just falls off the bone or falls apart. And since we didn't actually use a ham bone, we don't have to pull the bone out. So bonus. All right, we're gonna put it on here in our bowls. And then our bread should be done here shortly. So let's see. Oh my goodness, it looks so good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, don't be skimping on the size bowls because you know people are gonna want a lot of this soup. It is hearty. It's a very hearty soup. Here's the way, and that is the way that we serve soup beans and cornbread. Now we'll give Tim the taste test and take a bite of the soup beans and tell me what you think. Still hot. This is the true test.
Good.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, guys, this has been Cooking with Nana. I've had a great time and look forward to the next time. Bye.